Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So we are on another pond project. We had talked about this one on the last pond project for Seth. And by the way, him and the family's really enjoying that pond. They had a cookout around it this last weekend. So they're really liking that. So this pond is at my buddy Mike's. And what we're doing is we're actually utilizing the sand from this pond. It's not just getting piled up. It's going to go to fix his cattle pastures here because the cows are out in this muck and it is always super wet, and he's had cows get stuck out here. He's lost his John Deere A2 cylinder out here and had to get it pulled out. So we're going to haul some sand in. We're going to spread it out over this and firm it up for him. So here comes George with the first load. You're gonna get stuck. It's gonna happen. Yeah, it's soft out here. I guess try to dump it. Go up. Yeah, it's going to anyways. Give it some throttle. Hold the throttle. There you go. No, take it out of gear. You're still in forward. There you go. Now go ahead and dump it. It's gonna come out. It'll go pretty far before it tips. All right, it's probably getting out. Get it up. Get the load slid off, it won't tip over. There you go, see if we can drive out now. There you go. Use the articulation to your advantage. There we go, that wasn't so bad. It wasn't gonna tip over. You got to lean it pretty far before it tips over. But anyways, as you can see, it's super soft out here. We're going to bring in a foot of sand over all this, and the cows will kind of work it down and get it mixed up with their hooves, and that'll get some of this muck worked back in it so the grass will grow in it. Now, we have done this on our own farm fields before, and you'd be going along with the tractor and it'll feel real soft, and then all of a sudden you get to the spot where we've hauled sand in and it's just like you drive up on a hump and keep going. So it does definitely help. And we only in some of our fields we only put about 8 inches and just chisel plowed it in. So by bringing a good 1.5 feet over this, it's really going to firm it up, so it'll make the cows happy. So let's get started, and I'm gonna run the dozer for a while. And we've actually we started digging on this project about 3 months ago, and then we got a bunch of rain and it got too much water in the hole, so we pulled out and went and done some other things. So we're gonna get all the dirt from the prior digging moved, and then we'll start digging again on the pond. We've got the 220 Honda here, and we're gonna bring the 270 Hitachi also, and we'll eventually have the 9300 with the haul truck wagon behind it. And that haul truck wagon, a couple viewers have asked, that is a 30-ton wagon, just like that 30-ton truck. So it's a 30-ton capacity truck. Well, Mike's out here mowing with the John Deere. Nice sounding tractor. He just had it over at our place. Well, had the PTO and stuff out of it over at our place, the whole back of it. Had to reseal the PTO because it was getting hydraulic oil from the power troll into the rear end of the tractor. Because the PTO, for those of you who don't know, the PTO actually runs the hydraulic pump in the back of the tractor, and the power troll, that is your remotes and your hydraulic lift, is all above the PTO shaft. And the PTO shaft actually has hydraulic oil around it, and then it also sticks into the rear end of the tractor, into the transmission. Well, in the transmission, it's 90 weight gear oil, And in the power troll section, hydraulic pump section, that's hydraulic oil. And there is a spring and a cup and some rubber seals in there, and the spring keeps pressure on them rubber seals, and that cup stays against a brass piece, and that's how it all seals. Kind of like a sprayer pump, if you've ever had an Ace sprayer pump, and how the seals work in there, or just like a regular trash pump. Similar seals to those also. So we finally got that sealed up, and it hasn't had any trouble since. Before, you'd leave it parked and it would share oil. It would run all the hydraulic oil out into the transmission. So George is on his way back. I got that dirt all graded off. We'll see how it does now. You'll see kind of the difference of what a little sand will make out here in the muck. He's gonna back in this time. Hopefully the gate's wide enough for him. I'll guide him back. There you go. Oh, whoa. Yeah, that was a little bit too far. Let me go move the dozer before you dump it. That wasn't bad. It was gonna happen anyways. Let me dig it out. Ah, there we go. We got him upright again. Just pull over on it, pack some sand under the tires, and good to go again. See if we can drive out. Almost. Well, let's see how this goes. We got the sand spread out. Got him a nice path to back in on now. It's holding him up quite well. It's amazing what a little sand does. That's probably good right there. Go ahead and dump it. There's a stick in there. So the haul wagon is same capacity. It's just the bed is shaped differently on the haul wagon compared to the haul truck. Moxy's had just a different shape. They're kind of more of a bowl shape down towards the front versus the kind of more flatter bottom of the Terex. They kind of sit different, you know. The Moxy's kind of got a frame that goes down like this towards the articulation joint, where that Terex is nice and flat all the way across. So they just look different, but they haul the same amount of materials. Well, good morning. We got a lot done yesterday afternoon. Got a lot of dirt moved. It sure don't look like it, but this is pretty thick in here and covered quite a bit of area, as you can see. So definitely firming things up. George can back in a little farther every time because as he backs in, it forces more of that sand down into the muck, and it just keeps hammering it in, packing it in, making it firmer yet. So we're going to work this morning till about noon, and we're going to go get some lunch. We're going to hit up the KFC, and then a viewer asked me what my favorite lunch was from KFC, and I'll have to say the famous bowl without the sweet corn. That's my favorite lunch there. But anyways, we're going to only work a half a day here, and then we're going to go help my sister and Dad's strength get some stuff moved into their new house. So it's not going to be a very long day, but we'll get something done this morning. And then it is that time of year again for the Northern Indiana Power from the Past. So that's going on this weekend, so we're going to hit that up. So by not working a whole day today, I won't have much video stored in my phone, so I'll have room to get a little video from there tomorrow or Sunday, depending on what day we go. So be looking for that video also. I might just throw that up on the sister channel, Dirt Grain Steel After Hours. We'll see what happens. I need to get some video put on there. I need to get some shorts and get that channel going. So anyways, let's get started here. Dad and George went out back. They're going to get the 220 running and the haul truck and get some dirt moving up here. So let's get at it. That's the farthest we've been back yet with the truck. Definitely firming it up. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So we're digging a pond on my buddy Mike's place, and we're taking the material up to his cow lot, and his cow lot is all muck and peat moss. And he actually had a cow, last spring when it was super wet out, the cow got stuck out there. Got the cow out though. Cow's perfectly fine. But he wanted to do something to prevent that. He said, well, we can dig you a pond, take all the dirt from the pond up there, scatter it out a foot thick, and that should solve your problem. That's what we do on a lot of farm ground that's muck and is an issue, and it really helps. Put it about a foot thick and then chisel plow it in, and it works out real nice. So we started this project about 3 months ago, and it rained and it flooded us out of here. We couldn't do nothing with it because we got a bunch of rain, and in order to get to this back corner of the property you have to go through a low spot, and that was pretty wet, so we couldn't get through it with the haul truck. Well, Dad had started this project with the 270. That's what he initially started digging with. And he got to this point, he's like, that sand's really hard. He's like, we're going to have to dig it with a tooth bucket. So he said, when we go back, we'll take the 220 with the tooth bucket and you can dig with it. And it is ridiculously hard. I mean, really hard. I don't know how sand can get so hard. But it is. So we came and we hauled off the pile that Dad had dug before, got that all moved up to the cow lot, got that scattered out. Now we're gonna make another big pile and let it dry and haul it, kind of rinse and repeat until we've got what we need up there and we've got a nice pond dug here. So we're not necessarily digging a pond to fish out of or have fun with. We're digging a pond for the material. But it's dual purpose here. He's going to end up with a nice pond that he can fish in. We will shape it all out to be a pond when we're done. It just won't be a pointless hole. I know some dig borrow pits and they just leave them holes. We'll actually go around and taper this one out. So I do have some video from when we were hauling before. We laid the haul truck over a couple times because it is extremely soft where we're hauling it to. And we're about, a quarter mile from where we're actually hauling to. And a couple times it was like a 50-50 chance. The truck would go up without falling over, or it'd go up and fall over. But there was always that slight chance that it would dump out, and I wouldn't have to bother having the excavator come up there to either dig it out before we raised it. So I just went ahead and raised it and dumped it. If it fell over, it fell over. Everybody's all worried in the comments, it's going to tear the lift cylinders up, it's going to hurt the truck, you should fire George for flipping it. No, I'm not firing George for flipping the truck that was purposely designed to be flipped over. Everybody's like, oh, well, that's a lot of side draft on the lift cylinders for the bed. Well, yes, on a Cat or a Volvo, the way that the cylinders are angled out and up from the main frame of the truck, they actually hit the ground first when the bed goes over. On the Moxy, the cylinders are telescopic and they are tucked in under the bed, so the bed side actually hits the ground before the actual cylinder does. So there's really no side draft pressure on that cylinder when it lays over. So it doesn't really hurt that truck at all to roll it over. And the thing was once he was stuck, I couldn't push him out with our little 85 New Holland dozer anyways. So I had to get him emptied out to get it out. Everybody just panics when you flip a haul truck over. Didn't hurt that truck one bit to lay it over. Did it take a little time to bring the excavator up and set it up? It would have took a little time to bring the excavator up and dig it out and push it out. So either way, it had to take time. And there was still that 50-50 chance that it would go up that tipped and dumped, because I seen it do it a couple times. Also, the problem is you can back into the same spot 10 times, and on the 11th time the truck falls in or falls over. It's just working on muck. It's not if, it's when it's going to happen. It's very strange dirt. It's like it, I don't know, it's almost like it kind of pumps water up in it as you drive over it, and then eventually it gets too soft and can't support the weight. It's just really weird stuff. And then once you punch through it once, that spot is injured. It's always going to be injured, and it's going to be a soft spot. It never firms up. Just an odd dirt. what's crazy is this is what is under it. Rock hard sand. So eventually you're going to sit down on a sand layer. Well, in some cases. Some cases, muck and peat moss is hundreds of feet deep before you ever hit anything solid. So I'll throw them video clips in from the first time we were here. Let you watch a couple of them. Well, I didn't have this one on my bingo card for today. Just got back from lunch and it decided it was going to start raining cats and dogs outside. Did get quite a bit of digging done before lunch. Went to KFC and had a 3-piece chicken dinner. Extra crispy. We do have the 270 here now. George is stacking up the sand as I dig it out. We're going to stack it up. We're going to dry it out. And then we'll haul it once it dries out up to the cow pasture. I went and got my 24-inch bucket, and where it's super hard, I dig with it for a little bit, get things kind of broke up, and then I switch to my big bucket and dig until it gets hard again. Kind of using that 24, it kind of rips through and rips as I dig. Pretty hard down there. I got into a spot where I found a few rocks and I thought, great, there's going to be a vein of gravel under here and that'll dig easy once I get to it. Well, I never seen any more rocks after that. So it must have just been a small pocket of gravel or something. I'm going to adjust this camera up just a little bit so you can see George up there. There we go. So I'm going to keep digging here for a while in this spot. Make a good deep spot in the pond. This rain is probably gonna keep us from hauling tomorrow like I wanted to. I wanted to haul some tomorrow. It's probably gonna get our path wet up to there. Let's have to see what tomorrow brings. Hopefully we're getting this rain in other places and not just right here. Might have been just a spotted shower. Got some corn and soybeans that would really like some more. Well, the sun's starting to come out now. But it looks like there's some more severe weather coming. Time like we might get some storms later this afternoon. Alright, I'm gonna keep digging. Well, it's still raining a little bit, and I was kind of in my own little world digging, listening to the new A-Bomb 79 podcast. I really enjoy his channel. He's a machinist from Florida. Has an awesome channel. I've been watching, let's see, probably about 6 years now, I think he's been on there. He's been on there longer than I have. Kind of inspired me to do some YouTube videos and stuff and some machine work on YouTube. Well, anyways, listen to his podcast because he just started one. Really enjoyable, and to hear his struggles and things throughout his career and how he got started, and just really good podcast to listen to. But anyways, just sitting here digging in my own little world, thought I better make some video. I started digging this hole here in the corner of the pond, trying to see how deep I can dig before I end up with water in the hole, which is not going to be too very long. It's going to start washing in real quick. Just kind of curious to see where the groundwater kind of is, because I haven't had this opportunity to dig like this without having water in the hole. Thought, well, I'll try to catch it on video when the hole fills in, because it'll be pretty cool. So there's going to be a lot of water rushing in right away. Let's get this opened up a little bit so we can see down in there. But I started watching Adam back, well, all that time ago. And at that time he was doing a lot of stuff with hydraulic cylinders. And that's what got me started on watching his machining videos. He'd take cylinders, repair them, fix them, order seals for them. Let's go ahead and just do this because it's gonna happen anyways. There we go. Oh yeah. A lot of water rushing in that hole. Just dropped the pond quite a bit. But anyways, I was just fascinated with his skills and his abilities to take a hydraulic cylinder, cut it apart, because the particular ones he was working on, they were actually put together then welded together, and I guess they're considered a non-serviceable cylinder, if I remember correctly. It's been a long time ago. But he actually stuck them in the lathe, cut them apart, and put new seals in them and put them back together. So I thought that was pretty cool. He ordered seals out of a couple different magazines, or well, catalogs for seals. I suppose you call them magazines. But measured everything up and ordered the right things for them, put them back together. Thought that was kind of cool. It's kind of like making a homemade cake, you know. You didn't just make it out of the box. He didn't just order a seal kit. He actually found what he needed and ordered them piece by piece. You know, a lot of times when we rebuild cylinders, we go to like John Deere or Hitachi, and it comes in a box and you put it in and away you go. The man definitely has some skills. I thought it was kind of cool I could relate in his podcast that him growing up, all he ever wanted to be was a train engineer, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. And then I got into the heavy equipment and got bit by the bug and just stayed with it and just enjoy it. Sometimes do I wish I was a trained engineer? Yeah, there's times. But then again, being a trained engineer now is not like it was back in the 60s and 70s, and you know, it's all new computerized stuff, and I don't know if I'd enjoy it that much. I think I'd enjoy it back in the day when railroading was railroading. A lot of things have just lost their nostalgia because of the day and age of the computer. I mean, excavating something like that, you know, you look back and running an old D8H was pretty cool. Now you get in a dozer and it's got a digital dash and full of sensors and just not as cool as it used to be. I always say I was born 100 years too late. Wish I was born 100 years earlier. Well, we have definitely moved some dirt. Let me tip this camera up so you can see our pile there. It's funny, when I started this morning, I'm actually sitting where about a foot of water was. So I've dropped the water that much by digging this hole. Be interesting to see how much it fills up overnight. That's why I wanted to get this corner all dug out here. I don't think it's going to fill up enough to cover where I'm sitting, but I figured I'd at least get this finished out this evening. I need to start a podcast. It's something I'd really like to do. I've talked about it before, I know. Just need to pull the trigger and do it. Need to get the basement finished at the house so I can have, I guess you could say, a podcast live video room. I was going to do a live video on this project, but I don't think I have enough cell service to do it. And I don't want it stopping and starting. It was pretty cool when I announced on Facebook that I had hit my 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Adam from A-Bomb79 commented and told me that he had just subscribed to my channel. I thought that was pretty cool. A very large YouTuber that took the time to stop and subscribe to my channel and watch some of my videos. You know, a lot of these big YouTubers, they don't care. They don't congratulate you. But he took the time to congratulate me on it. I really appreciated that. And I really appreciated everybody that, you know, stopped on Facebook to congratulate me and liked and acknowledged that I made it that far. Got a lot of texts, a lot of phone calls about it. I appreciate that. It has been a fun adventure. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the people I've got to meet, the people I've gotten to talk to. It's opened up some doors for me. Got to see some cool stuff because of it. Got to do some cool stuff. It's just been a really good experience. I just liked how he touched on a subject in his podcast about comments and how you get comments that are just sometimes downright rude. And you know what? just because I don't do something the way that you would do it doesn't mean anything. I have my way, you have your way, and we can all get along. Just like different areas have different ways of doing things, you know. I had a viewer comment on the last ditch project we did. Oh well, you should have flaggers 500 feet each side of you. Why? The road's closed. It's blocked off. Nobody can come down there. Nobody's going to bother me. I'm not going to waste the time and manpower on flaggers 500 feet on each side of me. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But you know what? Hey, that's fine. If that's what you want to do, you do that. That's fine. That's you, not me. Perfectly fine. But you know what? A bad comment's just as good as a good comment. So you know what? Fire away. To YouTube, all that is engagement. And you know what? Honestly, to me, it's just engagement. And it gives me something to read and sometimes comment something back that can be a little funny. I try to make jokes out of the bad comments. I think I find humor in a lot of them. And YouTube does filter out the ones that are really, really nasty. And occasionally I do get a few nasty ones. Some that attack my character personally. You name it, I've been called it. But you know what? At the same time, I don't care. Say whatever you want to say. I'm a worker in the trades. I can take the abuse. I've been picked on my whole life. That's all right. But like I said, the good always outweighs the bad. You'll have 30 positive comments on a video, and then boom, one out of the 30, or the 31st one will be, oh well, you know, yeah, that's wrong. That's not right. You didn't do that right. Not how I would do it. Well, okay, fine. Alright, I'm going to finish digging this corner out, and then that'll probably be quitting time for the day. Well, George and I made us one mountain of dirt, and it all came out of that hole. So we're going to let that dry out, and then once that dries out, we'll get that hauled up, and we'll get it graded off in the cow lots. So I went ahead, and there is a little ditch that runs along here. I opened that up, and I'm letting it drain in here. That away, when we start hauling dirt, if there is any water up there, maybe it'll find its way to this ditch, and it'll dry out our path a little bit. So we'll see what happens. So, all right, that's enough for today.